settles gently over the quiet town. Streetlights humming softly as the dark moves down. Cars drift through the distance like waves beneath the moon. A fading little echoes disappearing soon. Filled with silence and a steady amber light, a quiet little refuge from the weight of the night. I spent the day running through voices and replies, watching hours disappear in crowding city skies. But tonight the calm arrives like rain after heat, washing every restless thought from the tired street. Music floats softly through the quiet air, turning simple moments into something rare. The window shows the skyline in scattered silver lines, each glowing distant window holding separate times. But none of those stories call my name tonight. The world feels far away beyond the amber light. Maybe peace is simple when nothing asks for more, when the endless rushing day finally closes its door. So I sit with the evening as the hours move slow, letting quiet understanding gently start to grow. And in this quiet breathing between the dark and dawn, I realized this stillness was what I needed all along. The city moves outside my room, but I don't feel like going out. Voices drifting through the street like a distant quiet crowd. My phone keeps lighting up the dark, names appearing on the screen, little invitations waiting for a version of me they've seen. But tonight I close the window, let the silence fill the air, because sometimes being alone is the only way to care. The lamp beside the sofa glows in a warm and gentle shade, like the quiet little refuge that this lonely night has made. I used to chase the noise of life, crowded bars and neon lights, thinking laughter meant belonging through the endless city nights. But the louder the world became, the more I felt apart, like a stranger in the middle of a restless moving heart. So tonight I let the music feel the quiet of the room, watching shadows slowly dancing in the amber tinted gloom. The city breeze beneath the sky, cars drifting far below, but the rhythm of the evening finally moves slow. Maybe solitude is gentle when you let the silence stay, like a quiet kind of freedom at the ending of the day. And the world can keep on spinning through its crowded midnight view, while I sit here with the calm of simply being me and you. Except tonight it's only me, and somehow that feels true.
The messages keep coming, little lights across the phone, but tonight I let them fade and leave the world alone. The city hums outside it with its restless, endless tone, but something in the silence says this night is mine alone. I used to answer quickly every call and every name, running through the crowded hours like it was some kind of game. But the louder life became, the more I felt unsure, like every conversation left me needing something more. So I let the phone grow quiet on the table near the wall, watching shadows stretch slowly as the evening starts to fall. The window shows the skyline in a soft electric blue, like 1,000 tiny stories, none of them are mine to do. Rooms alive with noise and sound, but sometimes the quiet moments are where real peace is found. No explanations needed, no pretending to be bright, just the rhythm of my breathing in the middle of the night. Maybe solitude is honest in a way the world forgets. When the crowd finally fades away, the quiet gently sits, and somewhere in the distance cars move under fading light, while I sit here undisturbed inside my borrowed night. Keep on talking in its endless, restless tone, but tonight I let it pass and choose to be alone.
The music fills the quiet of this little midnight room, soft echoes on the ceiling in a gentle amber gloom. Outside the city whispers, cars fading down the street, while every passing moment moves slower with the beat. The lamp beside the window casts a quiet golden glow, like the night has wrapped itself in a peaceful kind of slow. I sink into the sofa with the rhythm in my ears, letting every melody wash away the years. to chase the noise of every Friday night, thinking crowded laughter was the only kind of light. But somewhere in the chaos I forgot how calm could feel, how silence and a song could make the night seem real. The record keeps on spinning, soft guitar and fading drums, like a quiet little heartbeat when the midnight hour comes. And in this lonely moment there's a strange kind of peace, like the world outside the door has finally found release. The skyline glows electric beneath the velvet sky, but tonight the only story is the music drifting by. Maybe being alone isn't something to escape. Maybe it's a quiet room where the soul can reshape. And as the final chorus floats slowly through the air, I realize the night is exactly where I care.
On moving like it always does. Cars racing through the avenues without a pause. People laughing somewhere in bars across the street, while neon lights are dancing beneath their tired feet. But tonight I close the curtains and let the silence stay, because I don't feel like running through another noisy day. The couch becomes an island in the quiet of the room, the lamp a little lighthouse in a soft and amber gloom. Drop my phone beside me and let the screen go dark, because every single message feels like another mark. I spent the whole day trying to keep up with the pace, smiling through the hours with a carefully chosen face. But sometimes even breathing feels like heavy work, when the world keeps spinning with a restless little jerk. So tonight I let the music move slowly through the air, like a gentle kind of freedom that says I don't have to care. No expectations waiting, no promises to keep, just the quiet of the evening and the rhythm of the beat. Outside the skyline glimmers in distant scattered lines, but none of those bright windows are asking for what's mine. Maybe rest is honest in a world that runs too fast. Maybe slowing down tonight is the bravest thing at last. And as the hours drift softly toward a quiet dawn, I let the tired feeling simply carry on.
Softer tonight after the noise of the day. Voices fading slowly as the world drifts away. Laughter from earlier hours still echoes in my head. Conversations repeating the things we never said. I smile through the evening like everyone expects. Trading small, polite words and carefully chosen text. But somewhere in the middle of crowded neon light, I felt a quiet longing for a slower kind of night. So I slipped away unnoticed through the city air, watching strangers walking without a single care. Now the silence fills the room like a calm and steady tide, washing every tired thought to the other side. The lamp beside the sofa casts a gentle glow like a quiet little harbor in the evening slow. I drop my jacket on the chair and breathe the empty space, finally letting go of the day's familiar face. Because sometimes even laughter can feel a little loud when you've spent too many hours standing in a crowd. And sometimes being quiet is the truest kind of peace, when the endless small talk finally starts to cease. Outside the city skyline shimmers in the dark, but none of those bright windows hold a single mark. Tonight I choose the silence over every busy tone, finding quiet comfort and simply being alone.
The city glows beyond the glass in restless shades of blue. Cars drifting through the avenues like waves I once knew. The phone keeps lighting softly with names that wanna talk, but tonight I let the silence be the only place I walk. I spent the day inside the noise of voices passing through, every little conversation asking something new. Questions without answers, laughter that felt rehearsed, tiny expectations like a quiet little curse. So I stepped back from the evening before the crowd could stay, letting distance draw a line between the world and me today. Now the room feels peaceful like a calm, forgotten shore, where the tide of human voices doesn't crash anymore. shadows a quiet amber light, turning ordinary shadows into something soft tonight. I breathe in the stillness, let the restless thoughts unwind, watching all the scattered pieces drift out of my mind. Outside the sky flickers with 1,000 different lives, people chasing midnight dreams through neon-colored drives. But tonight I let that motion pass gently through the air, like a distant constellation I no longer need to share. Maybe solitude is healing when the world becomes too loud, like a quiet open sky after leaving every crowded And the night wraps slowly around me as the city fades from view, leaving nothing but the calm of being simply true.
The day left quiet echoes in corners of my mind, voices asking questions that I couldn't leave behind. How have you been lately? Are you doing fine? Simple little phrases that blur the passing time. I answer like expected with the usual little smile, carefully arranging words that work for just a while. But sometimes every sentence feels heavier than it seems, like explaining the weather inside someone else's dreams. So tonight I close the curtains, let the outside fade away, because I don't feel like talking about the shape of today. The room becomes a harbor for thoughts that drift alone, the lamp a quiet lighthouse in a steady amber tone. I sit beside the window, watching distant lights, cars sliding through the city in endless restless nights. Somewhere laughter echoes from apartments down the street, but the silence in this room feels gentler than that beat. Maybe not explaining is the truest thing to do, letting quiet understanding be the only thing that's true. Because some days don't need answers, some feelings don't need names, they simply move through silence like slow, invisible flames. And in this borrowed evening, with the music drifting low, I let the world keep asking while I quietly let it go.
The phone lights up the darkness with its familiar glow. Tiny worlds inside the screen, moving fast and slow. People sharing stories, moments bright and loud, perfect little pictures floating through the crowd. But tonight I place it gently, face down on the floor, letting the quiet evening slip beneath the door. Because sometimes every timeline starts to feel the same. 1,000 borrowed memories without a single name. I spent the day scrolling through endless passing scenes, watching other people's lives inside glowing screens, smiles from distant places, laughter through a frame, tiny filtered sunsets that always look the same. But somewhere in the motion I forgot how stillness feels, how the quiet of a room can slowly start to heal. So tonight I leave the phone resting in the dark, while music fills the silence like a distant spark. The window shows a skyline soft beneath the stars, cars drifting through the avenues like quiet passing bars. And in this little moment the world finally feels wide, without the endless noise of voices amplified. Maybe peace is simple when the screen turns gray, when the night belongs to breathing instead of what they say. And as the hours wander through the quiet midnight air, I realize how gentle a silent night can be to share.
The city keeps on glowing with its restless midnight shine, windows full of stories that don't belong to mine. People walking past me, talking on their phones, carrying their laughter through the evening tones. Usually I listen, try to understand, offering small kindness where I think I can. But tonight my heart feels heavy, like the year before the rain. Every quiet feeling pressed against my brain. I know the world is spinning with 1,000 different lives, everyone just trying to somehow survive. But tonight I close the curtains and let the silence stay, because I don't have the strength to give myself away, to give myself away. The couch becomes an island in the quiet amber light, music drifting slowly through the middle of the night. Outside the traffic murmurs in a distant flowing line, rivers through the city, far beyond this mind. Maybe rest is honest when the heart feels worn, like a quiet empty shoreline after every storm. 'Cause even gentle people sometimes need a space where the world stops asking for a smiling face. So tonight I keep the silence close beside my side, letting tight emotions quietly subside. And the city can keep shining with its endless moving sea, while I sit here breathing, finally just being me.
The thoughts keep moving like cars along the street. Every quiet moment bringing something incomplete. Questions from the daytime echo in my mind. Unfinished conversations I wish I left behind. The city glows electric through the window shade. 1,000 restless stories in neon lines displayed. Usually I follow every drifting thought, trying to untangle every knot I've caught. But tonight I'll let them wander like clouds across the sky, because some nights the answers aren't worth asking why. The lamp beside the sofa spills a gentle glow, turning quiet shadows into something slow. Music fills the silence with a steady kind of peace, like the restless little voices finally release. Outside the cars keep passing beneath the midnight air, but none of those directions lead anywhere from here. I sink into the moment, let the world grow wide, watching every heavy thought slowly drift aside. Maybe not thinking is the bravest thing to try when the mind keeps chasing every reason why. Because sometimes quiet breathing is the only truth we need, a silent kind of freedom from the endless speed. And in this borrowed evening, with the music drifting low, I let the thoughts dissolve and finally let them go. Finally let them go.
The room is filled with amber light from a quiet little lamp. Soft shadows on the walls, like memories in a camp. outside the city flickers with its restless midnight glow. Cars drifting through the avenues in endless lines below. But tonight the door stays closed to every distant sound, because the calm inside this room is something rarely found. The couch beneath the window holds the weight of quiet time as music drifts softly through a gentle rhyme. I remember nights of laughter, bars alive with noise, crowded rooms of voices, and restless city joys. But sometimes all that brightness turns louder than it seems, like living someone else's unfinished little dreams. So tonight the lamp and music are the only things I need. A quiet kind of shelter from the world's endless speed. The window shows the skyline in scattered lines of blue, like distant constellations, with stories not my view. I sit and watch the evening slowly stretch and bend until the restless daylight finally meets its end. Maybe solitude is gentle when the night feels wide, like a calm forgotten ocean with a quiet turning tide. And in this quiet moment, with nothing left to prove, I find a strange comfort in simply staying still and smooth.
The city glows outside the glass in restless shades of blue. People drifting through the night with somewhere else to do. Voices echo down the street, laughter in the air. But tonight I feel like vanishing somewhere. Now running far away, not chasing distant seas, just quietly stepping out of everything that sees. The phone rests silent on the edge of the bed. Names that once felt urgent fade gently in my head. I spent the day inside the noise of questions and replies, trying to keep smiling through the hours passing by. But somewhere in the middle of crowded passing scenes, I felt a quiet longing for invisible routine. So tonight I dim the lights and let the room grow still, watching shadows slowly bend along the windowsill. Music flows softly through the amber glow, like a quiet river moving slow. Maybe disappearing for a little while isn't losing courage or forgetting how to smile. Maybe it's a moment the heart sometimes needs when the world grows louder than its silent sea. Outside the skyline flickers like constellations bright, but none of those distant windows ask anything tonight. So I let the evening settle like dust upon the air, finding quiet comfort in not being anywhere.
The city looks familiar through the window late tonight. Cars sliding through the darkness beneath the traffic light. But something feels different in the quiet of my mind, like the world is slightly distant, just a step behind. Voices echo faintly from apartments down the street, laughter drifting upward through the evening heat. Usually I follow every sound I hear, feeling part of something that is always near. But tonight the distance hangs soft in the air, like a quiet little curtain between me and there. The lamp beside the sofa casts a gentle shade, turning simple shadows into shapes that slowly fade. Music moves slowly through the quiet room, like a calm, forgotten river in a soft perfume. I think about the daytime and all the things I said, words that felt automatic, running through my head. Maybe being distant isn't something wrong. Maybe it's a quiet pause between each song. Outside the skyline flickers with 1,000 restless lights. Because the world feels wider when it's not about me. And in that quiet distance between the dark and blue, I realize the silence is something honest too.
The day has slowly faded into quiet shades of blue. Streetlights glowing softly along the avenue. The noise of passing hours finally fades away, like waves retreating slowly at the end of day. My phone rests silent on the table near the wall. No urgent little messages, no voices left to call. I sink into the sofa with the music drifting low, letting every tired thought move gently with the flow. City outside continues its restless midnight race. Cars chasing glowing signals through the empty space. But tonight I choose the quiet instead of running fast, because even busy hearts need a moment that can last. I spent the day pretending that everything was light, smiling through the hours until the falling night. But the truth beneath the surface was simply feeling worn, like a quiet little candle burning near the dawn. So tonight I let the silence wrap softly around me, like a calm forgotten shoreline touching a quiet sea. The lamp beside the window casts an amber glow, turning ordinary moments into something slow. Maybe rest is healing in ways we rarely see, when the world finally pauses and lets the heart be free. And as the night grows deeper, with the music drifting through, I realize the quiet was always something true.
The night feels quiet after everything today. Voices from the daylight slowly drift away. Streetlights paint the pavement in silver lines of glow. Cars moving like rivers far below. My phone stays silent on the edge of the bed. No more little conversations running through my head. try to keep smiling through the crowded hours, talking about nothing beneath neon towers. But somewhere in the middle of all the noise and light, my heart started whispering it needed this night. So I let the music fill the quiet air, like a gentle reminder that I'm still here. The lamp beside the window cast a steady glow, turning ordinary shadows into something slow. Maybe being tired is nothing to defend. Sometimes even strong hearts need a place to bend. Outside the skyline flickers with 1,000 restless lives, people chasing moments through midnight drives. But tonight I sit still, letting the evening be, because the quiet feels honest in front of me. Every breath grows softer, every thought grows light, like waves that finally settle after the fight. And in this gentle silence between the dark and blue, I remember that resting is something people do. Something people do. Something people do. Something people do.
The night feels kinder than the hours before, when every little mistake felt heavier than before. Streetlights glow softly along the empty road, cars moving quietly with stories never told. I sit beside the window, watching shadows move, thinking of the countless things I thought I had to prove. The day was full of moments where I tried too hard, chasing quiet approval like a distant star. Every small decision echoed in my head, turning simple questions into weight instead. But tonight I breathe slowly and let the silence stay, because maybe not everything needs explaining anyway. The lamp beside the sofa casts a gentle shade, turning tired reflections into shapes that fade. Music drifts around me in a calm, soft flow, like a quiet little river moving slow. Maybe being human means we sometimes fall, learning how to forgive the smallest parts of all. Outside the city sparkles with its restless, endless glow, people chasing futures through avenues below. But tonight I close the distance between my heart and me, letting every restless thought finally be free. Because sometimes the bravest thing a quiet soul can do is simply stop fighting and be a little true.
Night arrives slowly, like a quiet, gentle tide washing away the noise that followed me outside. The city keeps glowing in scattered lines of light, cars drifting through the avenues beneath the open night. But here inside this room, the air begins to slow like time itself decided it no longer needs to go. The lamp beside the window casts a steady glow, turning ordinary moments into something soft and slow. Music fills the silence with a steady breathing sound, like a calm, forgotten harbor quietly found. I sit and watch the evening settle into place, letting every passing thought drift without a trace. The day had many voices calling out my name, asking tiny questions in 1,000 different frames. But tonight the quiet answers in a softer tone, reminding me that peace can live in being alone. Outside the skyline flickers with endless moving scenes, people chasing midnight through glowing colored screens. But the world feels distant in the quiet ember light, like a slow turning planet that needs to choose to me. And in this simple moment, with nothing left to prove, I let the silence hold me and simply choose to move.
The night stretches softly across the quiet sky. Streetlights fading slowly as the hours drift by. Cars pass in the distance like waves along the shore, moving through the darkness, then returning no more. My phone rests silent beside the window light. No sudden little messages to break this quiet night. I sit here with the music floating through the air, letting every gentle chord settle everywhere. The day had many voices endless glow. But none of those bright windows have somewhere I must go. What the heart needs most, when the world finally pauses, like a quiet ghost. No plans for the morning, no need to explain, just the steady comfort of a gentle refrain. And if the sunrise finds me still sitting in this light, that would be enough for this borrowed